have you guys ever been to a restaurant and you're looking at the menu and you're just choosing between like this really, really juicy burger that just like looks so good, and then the salad that like you should probably have, and then you end up choosing the burger, and then you just like think to yourself, well, to justify this unhealthy choice, I'll just work it off at the gym tomorrow. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't work that way, especially with diets. So, and I get it, like you, as you're going through school and like maintaining a good job, like you really want to have like a good healthy diet. But sometimes things get in the way, like whether you can't bring food from home that's healthy and you just go off to like a McDonald's or a Japanese it's like down the street. So I'm here to tell you that diets are actually really bad for you. Like I went on an all-green diet to train for my marathon. And surprisingly, it really affected me in a negative way as opposed to a positive way. I wasn't getting the nutrients that I was supposed to have, like for example the protein or like the meat or the fish or anything like that. And so it actually made me have less energy to finish the marathon as opposed to like, me finishing strong. So in all essence, like dieting actually gives you a negative impact on your body. It like doesn't really help you get through the day as much as energy as you want or anything like that. So today I want to influence your behavior on dieting and how it physically affects you in a positive and negative way, how it's psychologically damaging, and the secret to all your fitness goals. So everyone needs to exercise, whether you want to lose weight, build mass, fight aging, etc. And the benefits to exercising as well is you can cause diseases like cancer, you could burn calories, it could relieve stress, it can improve your sleep, and it could even make you look good and boost your confidence. So according to Tracy Mann, a UCLA nutrition associate, says that it is necessary for the body to get its daily dose of carbohydrates, proteins, and even fats. And so although these diet plans do induce weight loss, they can actually take a toll on your body. For example, it could decrease your bone density, and it could lead to mental stress, which leads to a temporary diet. So have you ever had the feeling where like when you do go on a diet, you have a cheat day and then you just feel awful about yourself, like man, I just hate myself for eating that chocolate or like eating that french fry? And so this leads me to my next point, that in addition to contributing to physical health risk and obesity, it can also lead to mental stress and emotional wellness. So according to the 2010 Dietary Guidelines for Americans, the average American consumes too few whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and excessive amounts of refined grains, sugar, and unhealthy fats. So this is called a Western diet, and if you've noticed that we're actually surrounded by it like everywhere that we go. Like, don't you ever notice that whenever you go to a fast food restaurant that a burger is always cheaper than a salad, and you're just thinking like, well, this is how this leads to how Americans always like are obese and they don't really take care of their bodies. And so traditional diet is just like your fruits and vegetables and fishes and all these like proteins and vitamins that you need. So in a study published in the American Journal of Psychiatry in 2010, the dietary habits of 1,046 women ages 20 to 93 were analyzed. So half of them were on a traditional diet, and this led to less people having like disorders like depression or stress, and then the other people who were on the Western diet ended up having more anxiety attacks, more stress on their lives, and even led to mood swings and poor body image. So now that I've talked to you about how it's physically and emotionally effective on your body, I'm going to tell you the secret to all your fitness goals. And to be honest, it's just exercise and eating smart. So Michelle Olson, a professor of physical education and exercise at the Auburn University, says, without exercise, only a portion of your weight loss is from fat. You're only stripping away muscle and bare density. Since working out stimulates growth of those metabolic issues, losing weight through exercise means you're burning mostly fat. So how do you keep it off? You don't really have to run a marathon or train as hard as like all those other athletes, but you do have to have 5 to 7 days of like moderate intense workouts. So, and then the other thing is just eating smart. So Sean M. Talbot, a nutritional biochemist and former professor of the University of Utah, says, as a rule of thumb, weight loss is generally 75% of a traditional diet and 25% exercise. An analysis of more than 700 weight loss studies found that eating right and exercise result in weight loss. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to cut calories, but instead that you have to be smart about it. So for example, if a woman were to weigh 150 pounds, then she would have to add 10 pounds to each calorie. So she would be consuming like 1,500 calories a day. And with that, she could lose weight in an instant. So now that I've talked to you about how it physically and emotionally impacts your life, dieting should be taken a little bit more seriously as opposed to just brushing it off. So the next time that we're out for lunch, maybe you want to pick a healthier choice that contains like the fruits or the traditional diet as opposed to the Western diet. Thank you.
So Eleanor, share with us your thoughts on the speech that we just heard.
I think the physicality of your delivery, you have good posture, you can shift a lot, and your actions are very natural. And maybe, I'm not sure, I wasn't 100% sure because way off in the corner, but it looked like your eye contact was well distributed pretty much everyone. Let's see, I also think that you had really good organizations, like related to sources, you had scholarly journals, and university professors and researchers. Your roadmap and your organization seem pretty clear, and you signaled pretty distinctly when you're going to each section. If there was one thing that I would have recommended differently, it was especially towards the end when you're doing the quotations, you started reading a lot off your note cards. So if you would recommend like paraphrasing and using that instead.
All right. I thought, excuse me, at the beginning, the visualization was pretty good. I like the idea of focusing on dieting as being problematic. You've got personal experience there. There's a preview. The supporting material in the preview sounds almost like it's going to be informative in nature. And although you do have persuasive elements to it, I think maybe the phrasing on some of those points needs to be more along the lines of, let me describe to you what the drawback of this is, or why this isn't going to work, or why it's essential that you do both things instead of the way that you phrase them, which, like I said, sounded more descriptive rather than making an inference. There's a clear statement of your purpose, so I thought that was fine. On the first point, it seemed like there was a lot of hypotheticals about the harms that come along with this. You need a few more citations early on in the speech to talk about some of the dangers that you're talking about. I mean, you mentioned stuff that's going to be happening if people are relying on changing their diet, and I'm not exactly sure, why you believe some of those things. One of the things that you said even suggested that potentially people get cancer as a result of this. Now, I know if people eat the wrong kinds of foods that there are those potential problems, but you're saying, for instance, following a particular diet can produce these issues, and I'm going, well, okay, this sounds a little bit more general than what you were saying at the beginning of the speech. So I'm not sure if it's just a criticism of what we eat in general, or the practice of trying to follow a diet that is now the subject of your criticism. And I thought, so it lost a little bit of focus there, or it changed the focus a bit. And so it seemed different as a result. I would agree. I thought you sounded confident most of the time when you're speaking to us, and you look that way also. Sometimes you look maybe a little bit too confident. I don't want to say like a Superman pose, but you've got your legs, separated a little bit, like, if you put your hands on their hips, we could put the sun behind you and say, strange visitor from another world, that sort of thing. Yeah, I think you need to maybe moderate that a little bit, but you look like you were in control. So kind of like the opposite of the criticism that we were having earlier, you need to be maybe a little bit more relaxed in that regard. Your eye contact, when you go to the notes, you emphasize the fact that you're having to go to the notes because you pull your notes up to your face and you really break any focus. It's not like, you don't do it all the time. 80% of the time, 70-80% of the time you're talking to us, but the 20 to 30% of the time that you go to the notes, it really is obvious that you're doing that. And you need to kind of find, Eleanor had a suggestion there, maybe paraphrase a little bit more. And because you're reading, by the way, and I don't know how much you got a chance to practice, some of the reading sounds a little bit awkward. Metabolic is not that hard a word to say for somebody who's talking about exercise and diet, that sort of thing, and you struggled with it. And I know you're reading a phrase, and it's just like, it's because you're reading, not because you don't know what it is, but it's because you're looking at the words on the page instead of remembering what it is you're saying. And I think that's one of the things that hurts the presentation a little bit. All right, thank you.